you could show up to work without pants, which was I guess the highlight of COVID. Do you work from home?
I do, like almost every day. It's just one day a week I need to go in live.
Are you gonna go live on Instagram?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay, that's cool. Sure. The pressure is on. No editing. This is just free flow. Yeah. I barely edit my stuff anyway.
Let's see. Switch. I think that's a flip. There we go.
I think you can actually. Hey, we are live on the ProducePod.
Yes,
Thank you guys for joining us today. We're going to be interviewing the famous Matt Shell, the what is it? Grammy musician on a Grammy award-winning album.
There we go.
So we're looking forward
participation.
Yeah, he gets. He got. You have the trophy though, right?
But I just got a certificate. So.
Okay, but still, you could probably submit that in for a voucher to get a trophy. Eventually. Or something. You can make your own. Why not? But yeah. So, how long have you been living in the area for?
I've been living. I grew up in Maryland, so I was born in D.C. I grew up in Rockville, Maryland. Before that, so I was starting age 13. Before that, I was in PG County.
Oh, dope. So you've been kind of Montgomery County-ish, this area for almost majority of your life. Yep.
I moved out to Virginia for 5 years, but I've been back here for 5 years. So,
nice.
A little time away, but then just love Rockville in this area.
Yeah, I came back too. I lived in Virginia, Springfield for like 3 years.
Yep, that was the area I was in.
You lived in Springfield too?
Yeah.
What the heck? Everyone goes to Springfield.
It's nice though. I liked it.
I couldn't say the same. I didn't have like that experience. I had lived in a moldy basement. And,
mold as well.
Yeah, it was black mold. I didn't even know what black mold was until years later. And I'm still was still coughing.
Yeah, get that out of your system.
Yeah,
like, it's good you're in a clean place like this now.
Yeah, I appreciate the compliment, but I know this place is not clean. But yes.
But yeah, mold can mess you up. It can actually keep you from losing weight, but you clearly don't have that problem. You're doing all right. So
wait, mold can make you not.
Yep, it can actually impede your ability to lose weight.
What how
from a nutritionist was having issues was because of mold exposure in the past. So now they're getting it out of her system, and she's gonna be all right.
Yeah. So how do you get mold out? That's like been in there for years.
Oh, certain supplements you have to take. And then it breaks down what's in there. But basically the mold gets hidden under enzymes and stuff and then just gets stuck in your body. And so you have to use the supplements to break down those enzymes, and then the mold can get cleaned out and stuff.
That's what's up.
It's crazy. Like it's crazy what nutritionists can do. I'm going to a nutritionist now.
Okay.
It's helping.
Nice. I went to like a consultation when you start a membership. They give you like a 1-day consultation type thing.
Oh yeah.
And she didn't really tell me much. She just kind of left me on like that cliffhanger. If you want to know more, you can just sign up.
Did she say any supplements or anything?
She really was just trying to make a meal plan. I think she was just trying to make money off of me.
Right, yeah, that's sad.
Because I already had kind of a good diet, and there's enough information on the internet that I don't need one. But I understand when you have like a tailored, someone who's to your specific needs, that goes pretty far.
Like the biggest thing she does, the nutritionist I'll see her tomorrow, but I do blood work, and then they look at it and see what the levels are. And so if anything is high or low, then they'll adjust the supplements I'm taking to help get everything where it needs to be. So like for instance, I had low testosterone, so then you just have to work out more, eat the right things, and then vitamin D, vitamin B were low, so then they give me those supplements. But then the last time I went, vitamin D and B were kind of back to normal. So they said, don't take it as much. Now that they're back to normal, take half the amount. So that's how intricate it can get with the nutritionist.
Nice. Yeah, I heard that there's like an app that you can prick your finger, or I think maybe you don't even need to do your finger anymore, but they can tell what you need nutrition wise. By breathing into
that's cool.
a tube. and it tells you where your levels are. I actually think that's like the future of health. It's like being so on top of it like that.
I have my levels checked every 3 months.
That's really good.
Yeah, because I'm really trying to figure out, because like, of course I need to work out more, but working out's like 20% and eating right's 80% is what she was saying, the nutritionist. So I'm like, let's figure this out, because I want to eat right. So like for lunch today I cooked salmon, vegetables, just trying to eat. She says eat a lot more fish than you would instinctually eat. So I'm just like eat fish like 4 or 5 times a week.
Do you like fish?
Oh, I love it. I love salmon. I love all sorts of fish. Yeah.
Cool.
So just mix it up. And Trader Joe's has a lot of good frozen fish, and then Costco has good salmon that's not too expensive. So
yeah, Trader Joe's, I love their like desserts.
Oh my gosh,
they
everything
have,
is so good. They're my favorite place.
They have
as far
like
as supermarkets.
This one that's like a honey, and it's kind of like got this rice-ish thing. I think it's like Turkish or something like that.
Is it quinoa bowl or something?
It's like you put it in the microwave for like a minute and 30 seconds.
I have to look for that.
And it turns into like freaking paradise in your mouth. I guess. It's amazing. I forgot the name of it. I should find it, but I treat myself every now and then. But
me too. Yeah.
That's the thing, is I think having a healthy relationship with eating healthy.
Yeah.
So like you can't go overboard and like cut yourself off, because you're just gonna jump right back to where you started when you had the issue to begin with, because you couldn't have the self-control, so then you're eating food that you shouldn't be eating.
Yep.
But if you just cut yourself out completely, it's like you're just going to go back into that cycle. So
yeah, because it's not natural, and then you'll start to think certain foods are bad. Then the relationship with food should be what the nutritionist was saying, eat what your body feels it needs, but then analyze it if you're trying to eat too much sugar or if you're trying to eat too much unhealthy things. But intuitive eating is what I think it's called. We're two non-doctors talking about medical stuff, but it's okay.
That's okay. You can take our non-professional advice.
But you're super healthy, and I'm seeing a nutritionist, so we have a couple things to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're a personal trainer too, so
yeah.
But yeah, it's okay to have dessert every once in a while. The nutritionist was saying just everything in moderation. And then the other trick she gave me, that is, I've lost like 25 pounds since February.
Whoa.
Like the biggest trick she gave me was to eat salad while you're cooking.
So eat while you're cooking?
Eat healthy, like eat a salad. So the thing that you probably don't want to eat the most, but it's the healthiest for you, just snack on that while you're cooking whatever you're making. And then you won't eat too much, because you'll start to feel a little full. And so instead of eating like 2 blocks of salmon, you eat 1. And then the other thing she said to snack on that you might not think is healthy but is super healthy is nuts. So just middle of the day, if you're hungry, have apples and nuts. She said if you can eat fruit like oranges, grapes, apples, strawberries, just have that more in the morning, but then nuts and when you're hungry as a snack, and then try to stick to your 3 meals a day. Yeah, you'll be on the right track. And then drink a cup of water every hour.
Dang, dude, we gotta create a new podcast just based off food and nutrition, health, stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's working. And then I need to get with you to be my personal trainer, and then I'll be on the right track.
Come on, yeah, you just gotta hit me up. It's,
I'm down.
I work out like 5 days a week.
I love it.
Yeah, we just did 2 miles swimming last week.
Awesome.
First time ever. We did 80 laps.
That's crazy.
And yeah, wasn't sure if we could do it. There was some doubt creeping in at like certain laps, but like lap 40 or like.
So what do you count as a lap? There and back is 1.
So it's a 25 meter pool. So it's 50 in total. Okay. And so it would be 40 laps in total, but it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you do 80 of those.
Okay, and so
or is it?
So that's
I think so. Was it?
So I can't remember. Is a lap usually 100?
Yeah.
Okay, so 40, 20.
I can't remember if we did actually 1, 2. I think it was like that up to 80.
Yeah.
It took us about an hour and like 10
That's a crazy
minutes.
amount.
It was a lot of swimming, and I was just recovering from COVID too. I have this thing where I like to do the things I shouldn't be doing when I have
as long
COVID.
as you can breathe, like yeah, the doctor will say, well, if you're starting to have a hard time breathing, just chill on the exercise. But if you can breathe, who cares?
Yeah. I guess the way I see it is that I gotta like get the sickness out of me. And so if I just, because you ever notice whenever you're feeling unwell, if you just kind of ball yourself up, you're like, oh, I feel so bad. Yeah. Like your body feels worse.
Sometimes,
but But if you just be like, hey,
especially
I'm fine.
if you work out all the time, you want to keep your equilibrium.
Yeah. So I noticed that like I'll do things that'll like I'll cough it out. Like if I have breathing problems, I'll do things that requires more breathing. So that way I'm really like having to, adjust. For me, it's like if I feel like there's stuff in my lungs, I want to do whatever I can to get my body to forcibly remove it.
Absolutely.
So I guess like being in a sauna, being like I don't know if it's medical.
No, sauna is so good for you. There's this one nutritionist, and they actually have a sauna in their building.
Oh, cool.
I don't use it because I have a sauna at the gym, but which I can just use. But yeah, they say you can come in whenever you want. And just use it, and that's so healthy. So yeah, if you're doing that, you're good. And then the other supplement that's really good for you is called Clear Lungs. What that does is like after COVID, it was a couple months ago, I couldn't get rid of the cough for like 3-4 weeks, and I had a radio interview with Maggie Linton from SiriusXM, and
oh, nice.
And she was like, yo, let's reschedule this. You're coughing a lot. I'm like, yes. What do you think I should do? She's like, oh, no, take this supplement called Clear Lungs. You can get it on Amazon. And literally within 3 days, I stopped coughing. It was so good. She said, just take it at night. And just within 3-4 days, and then keep taking it after, of course. She said, so we'll just schedule you to come back next week.
Oh, sick.
And then just completely fine. Like I was able to do an hour without coughing.
Dope.
So, but it was bad. I was coughing like all the time.
The storm.
And so if you're coughing and you need to get it out, get Clear Lungs. It's a good supplement.
That's good to know. Yeah. Well, I feel so. You've done a lot of interviews, a lot of like radio interviews.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've enjoyed it. It's fun. I've over the years done different things. DJ Flex at WPGC was cool, but to be fair, I had worked with him on the show called The Opportunity. So we had done a lot of different things.
What was that?
Well, The Opportunity was this music intelligence competition. We were trying to make a singing competition where you're not just judged on singing, but you're also judged on your work ethic. You're judged on if you're on time. You're judged on if you know music history.
On time as in to the gig?
Yeah. So there's one girl who was the best singer, but she didn't even place in the top 3 because she was always late, and we had to dock points. Wow. And then she also missed the semifinals by like half an hour, so then we just had to disqualify her, and everyone thought she was going to win. But no, this show is about like all the things you need to make it in the music industry. So being on time to places, being cognizant of music history, because you're going to be in the studio hanging out, you need to be able to talk about the genres that you like and what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if you don't know anything, like someone could be like, hey, what do you think of Miles? And you'll be like, who's Miles? Like, wait, no, Miles Davis, of course. So yeah, it's important to just have that. And so part of the competition was like a Q&A, and like almost like Jeopardy or something.
The trivia.
Yeah, so they get points for the trivia. Then there was a part where public speaking was factored in, and you had to talk about why you wanted to be an artist. And these were all high schoolers, and so we did 2 years of that, and it went pretty well. So, and then I couldn't produce it anymore because we had my daughter. So. We just had to slow down on the production because me and DJ Flex did everything as far as getting all the guest hosts and guest judges and mentors. Oh, and then the second season we stepped it up, and every single contestant, if they made it past the first round, which could have been a cover song or whatever they want to do, they had to write a song. So it had to be, your song had to be original, and that threw a lot of people off, and because they'd never been in a singing competition where you had to make your own original music. But the 3 kids who won first, second, third place, their songs were so good. I was just blown away by how creative they were, and then the winners got free production, so we produced their songs.
Nice.
And actually we ended up producing 8 people's songs because there were 8 contestants who were really good out of like the hundreds that submitted, and we felt like just giving it to the 3 wouldn't be fair. So we said we'll produce the top 8. So all
That's
8
sick.
got professionally produced songs, recorded, mixed, mastered, everything.
That's so
and then
clever.
the guy who won first place got a whole EP of production. So 5 songs, and we paid for his music video. We paid for some promotion, and he got the song played on WPGC 95.5. So it was a cool like synergy with the competition, and then you get your music played.
Can I get in on this?
Hey, it's over now, but Jahan, he was the second year winner. The first year winner was Gabby Nguyen. Jahan that's his artist name. He didn't have a last name, so but
it's a cool name. I mean, for an
but
artist.
yeah, Gabby was incredible. Oh, and then the other thing we gave was we gave them a concert at Jam and Java. So
What's that?
So Jam and Java is a venue in near Vienna, Virginia, and so we had collaborative ties with them, and so basically we gave the top 3 a chance to do a showcase. It was awesome. It sold out both years we did it.
Wow.
And they got to come and perform, and so
Wow.
everything from radio promotion to music video to performance was part of what you get if you won, and it was really cool and different. So like if we ever do it again, I think it could definitely do well again.
So did you guys record it? Is it online? So where people
I think if you just look up DJ Flex, The Opportunity, you can find it on his YouTube channel, like footage from past shows.
Wow.
But it was a lot of fun, and definitely a really cool concept where it's like we don't want to just reward a great singer if they don't have everything they need to make it in the music industry, like the hard work, the work ethic, the knowledge of music history, the ability to show up on time, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's so cool, because that's I feel like that you're literally are finding artists that want to work, that want to like showcase what they got for an opportunity to work with you. Like you're creating a really good foundation for you to actually, because a lot of the struggle is finding good artists. So if you have them competing against each other, you're gonna find the best ones.
And it was cool the way Flex put it out there. We made a ad and he would run it on PGC. So we got all the best singers who listen to WPGC in the area. So that
was a good partnership.
Yeah, no, it was a cool thing, because Flex, I had worked with him on a lot of remixes. So we had remixed Kanye, Big Sean, Selena Gomez, all these different people over the years in a go-go style, because he just loved go-go, and he's like,
nice.
Let's do remixes, but they were official. Like we would work with the record labels and get the stems. And Selena Gomez was the biggest one, because the go-go remix for Come and Get It, everyone loved, and it got played for 5 months straight, like 9 times a day. So
wow, on the radio.
Yeah, on PGC. So Flex had a good ear for what would make a good remix, and then he would reach out. And in that case, Selena Gomez had reached out and actually asked the station, like, who do you think would be good to remix to make it sound like the DC sound? And then so Flex hit me up, because he and I produced it together, but he brought all his musicians, like 6 go-go musicians who were incredible. And then we just did the whole remix in one night. We worked together, just all collaboration, and then I mixed it and mastered it on the spot.
Nice.
Next day, it started playing on the radio, and it played for 5 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
You guys just submitted it to the radio station the next day?
Well, he's the program director. So Flex controls what music's on the station.
Wow.
So once it was remixed, he was like, let's go.
Like, you guys were confident. You didn't need another day to listen to it. You were like, this is it.
I wanted another day. I was like, it was 3 a.m. when we were done. Like, yo, I'll listen to it tomorrow. He's like, no, it's going to be on the radio tomorrow. I was like, oh, okay.
Wow. He was confident what you guys were making.
No, because we had done remixes before, and they always came out really good. And at that point, he was like, no, I already know it's going to sound good. And the thing about his studio that's so awesome, when I mix and master stuff there, it sounds exactly the same in the car. It's like one of the best studios for sounding. What you do in the studio is exactly what you hope to sound like. Like what you hear is exactly. Not every studio is like that. Some studios have the coolest speakers and everything, and then you get in the car and it's just too bass heavy, or the vocals are too loud, or it's like, wait, but no, his speakers were exact what you get in the car and here. Yeah,
that's a studio around here.
It's his private studio
in
his house, but he made it really nice. It's really good.
Oh, nice.
It's in Southern Maryland.
Sweet.
It's pretty fun.
So how does someone go about making a remix for these big artists like Selena Gomez?
Well, since he's the program director over 20 years at WPGC, like so the artist will ask the radio station 95.5 like, hey, they might not know who does it, but they say, do you know anyone there who can remix it? And sometimes it's part of their strategy. Like Selena Gomez actually had 98 remixes for that song. So every state, she would pick a station and then ask them if they knew anyone who would remix. So there were dance remixes, there were go-go remixes, there was Latin remixes, everything you can imagine. And it was her strategy to get the song just to blow up, and it did. That song was
Which
huge.
song was it?
Come and Get It.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah, so it just, she was really smart, and either her or her team, and how they promoted that and got so many remixes for it.
But for like other artists, you've done remixes for other artists as well?
Yeah.
So what is kind of like because I do a lot of bootleg remixes where I'll find a vocal online and I'll make a song.
That's still cool, yeah.
And I'll like release it unofficially, but how do you know what the politics behind actually getting it officially released?
Oh, I get what you're asking. Yeah, so like luckily with Flex, he as a radio station, the labels want to work with the radio station. So he'll just say, hey, can we get the stems? Do you want this to be an official remix? And only if they say yes, then he's like, oh, hey, Matt, we got something worth remixing. And so he wouldn't just remix something randomly. Like he tries to coordinate it with the labels and stuff. And we don't charge. Like there was like no one, we were all enlisted to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so,
thank you for your service.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing. And this was years ago. I don't know if it's the same now. CBS radio was bought out, and so we haven't done it in a while. And also, since I have my kid, I haven't been able to do it as much. But no, it was a good partnership. Yeah, and not everything needs to be done for money. Like you can do bartering. So that's kind of how me and Flex did. We bartered and helped each other on different things.
For like salad and stuff like that.
yeah. Like, and I do that with a couple artists like Javier Starks and Substantial. We barter. I actually learned it from Substantial. It was his idea. I was like, man, that's a good idea. Like, so like with Substantial's who I've done it with the most. Like, I'll play guitar for one of his songs. Like, he has a song called MLK that I played on, and then he did a remix of one of my songs, and then back and forth, and then like I did guitar for something else, and he rapped on one of my songs. So, and we both have a lot of skill sets. So it could be guitar, it could be mixing, it could be whatever, and he's really good at being an MC, a rapper, but also he's a great engineer, producer, a remixer. So he actually worked with Njabes from Japan, so that's how he got huge, is doing a bunch of work with that guy, and he was part of the lo-fi movement, and he was one of the pioneers in Njabes and Substantial. So,
oh, wow.
But what's cool is Substantial's from PG County, so even though he worked in Japan for a while, he's back here now, and we're able to do work. So
that's cool. Yeah. I remember meeting the Uber driver, and he's like, one of my songs blew up in Japan. I've been making like thousands of dollars off of it.
That's awesome.
So, but it got me thinking, like, there's such a market beyond just radio and doing things that are mainstream.
Yeah, exactly.
You can make lots of money and just like networking with people that are just in the industry that have like a certain connections. Like that person, I think it was a sync license that they had. Like they made like $10,000 off of just having their song like on a commercial or something like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Which
I
was really
have
cool.
a friend, Derek Atwater. He goes by Agent Method, and I think he made, I won't say how much he made, but he did a commercial for Gatorade, and that was awesome. He did well with that. And then I've had some other friends who've gotten some cool placements. The film placements I've done 10 film placements. They weren't that much money, maybe like $750 here and there.
Did they pay up front?
Yeah, and they usually pay up front. Like, I got one with the Hallmark Channel that was
cool.
$750. But yeah, like it gets bigger and bigger. So as you start to get them, it can grow and become. But I know people who had a placement for $150,000 for one song.
What the heck? So how do you get
so that was
$100,000
a guy named DJ
placement?
Khalil.
Mm-hmm. Khalil.
All right, so DJ Khalil, I met him at a songwriter panel and he was talking about it. So he said he worked on Grand Theft Auto and he made a whole radio station. So that's a lot of work. Basically, you make every single song that's going to be on the station when people are driving around. They go to this station. He made all the songs for that station. He made like $300,000 just for doing all that work.
Oh my gosh.
And then after that, and this was right after he had produced "Lose Yourself" for Eminem. You better lose yourself. That song. Anyway, so he was really hot and he was like getting stuff. And then he said there was a film that paid him $150,000 just for one song right after "Lose Yourself." And they said, we just want something that sounds like "Lose Yourself." He was like, I got you. So yeah. And then he also gave a good warning. He said another film where he was destined to make another $150,000, he lost the placement because he had used a sample. And so they said, oh, we can't clear the sample, so we'll have to go with someone else. So he lost a huge bag. He's like, after that, he said he's never sampling again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to make sure you're using samples you can get clearance for.
Yeah.
Well, so what's your biggest placement?
I think the Hallmark Channel was a pretty cool one. It was a Christmas movie, and me and Tiffany Alvord did a song. She's a big YouTube singer that we submitted and they picked up, and it was an original Christmas song called "The Magic of Christmas." And then she wanted to be the songwriter on it for when it's released, so we got another singer named Melina, who's an incredible singer, and she sang on it for the released version. So it was pretty cool. So both versions were associated with the film, even though the Tiffany Alvord version is the one they used. But then when we released it, they promoted the Melina version, which was kind of cool. Oh, dope. Yeah, so that was cool. And then I think the biggest film as far as like what won awards and stuff was a film by Langston Shaw and director Selton Shaw. So Langston Shaw, producer and actor, and then Selton Shaw is director and writer. But it's called America Gone Viral. And it's this really amazing movie. The concept is, you know how there's sketch comedy? They did sketch drama. So it's all these different scenes dealing with really important issues going on in America, but in a dramatic way. So it's such a cool concept, and I was blown away when I saw the finished version. But I was the music director for that, and that was recent, and they won so many film festivals because it was such a different concept, and it's so political. Everything about the film was just amazing. So I was so proud of them. Like, that's awesome. And I worked on 4 previous films with them, but that's the best thing we've worked on, and I can't wait till it actually comes out everywhere. But yeah, do you know when it's gonna come? They're still working, probably next year. But the festival run's done now, and then they had a premiere that sold out in PG County, near where I grew up, which was kind of cool. That's awesome. But awesome. Yeah, that it was the film was wild, man. There's some, like, I'll explain one subject. So for instance, there's a scene where this guy gets out of prison and he's talking to his friend, and he's like, "Yo, DC has changed," and it's basically talking about gentrification, like seeing how everything's different. And he's like, what's that? And he's like, "Oh, that's a dispensary." He's like, "I went to prison for selling weed. They sell it for free now?" You know, like, so it's just going through all all these different issues that are just it's amazing. I don't want to give away too much about the film. But that's just an example of how political it gets. And he's like, "Oh well." How'd you approach doing the music for it? Well, I'd worked with them on every film they ever made except the first one. They had won an award originally for their first film, and then Langston heard my music and shared it with Selton, the director, and then from there they're just like, "We want you to do the music for every film," and we've just been working ever since. That's fantastic. Yeah, it's cool to have those connects. You've been in the industry for a while, so like 17 years or so. Sheesh. Yeah, that's dope.
And did you were you always like what? You were a musician to begin with. But.
Yeah. So I grew up. My mom was a concert pianist. She went to the Royal College of Music in London. My dad was in the Navy and played trombone in the Navy. So I learned a lot. And my mom was really like sight reading, and had been taught really classical, intricate way. And my dad was more jazz, being able to play by ear. So having both sides of the coin, and then also my mom was born in South Africa, grew up in Zimbabwe. That's cool. At the time it was called Rhodesia, now it's Zimbabwe. But so I actually have a lot of African influence in my music too. So that's why, like, if people hear my music, they're like, where are these like references from? But it's everywhere because I've gotten to travel a lot. My parents were great to travel all around the world with me when I was young. So with them, I think I went to 30 different countries.
Wow.
And then on my own, I've been to about 10 more.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it was cool. Like my mom, she had 2 master's degrees, apart from one in concert piano, another in like neuropharmacology. My dad's an astrophysicist, meaning a rocket scientist. He worked for NASA. Worked for the government, top secret stuff I can't even talk about. He never even told me. So the one thing I know he did work on that he was able to tell me was the Hubble telescope.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. He worked on like the pictures you see from the Hubble telescope. He helped program the Hubble telescope and other important telescopes that got pictures of stuff in outer space. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
that's
pretty
insane.
crazy.
So is all that mostly Photoshop?
No, that's funny.
God.
No, but so whenever anyone's like, "Oh, the Earth is flat," I'm like, I wouldn't be here if it was, man. My dad, he made his money from working in outer space, so y'all confused.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get some comments. Half of my viewers are flat earthers.
Oh gosh, I doubt it.
That would be funny to attract that though. Like, you don't know who you're attracting when you put stuff online.
I haven't y'all ever been in a plane? Like, you go up, the Earth is round. Like, it doesn't. Y'all need to fly, yo. Like,
get out of the house.
Yeah.
But so what's your favorite country you've ever been to?
I think it's hard to say. Turkey was really cool because so many countries feel like America now. Turkey was its own thing. It's so beautiful in like they're not trying to be Americanized. They're their own thing. The food was so good.
I did love their
everything. Oh, you been there too?
Yeah. Did you go to the Star Wars themed? It's like a sandwich place that's Star Wars themed.
No, it was. That's
that was
cool.
my favorite food there. It's probably the most. That was kind of
that's
American.
Closest to American.
Yeah.
No, we went and saw like the historical relics and stuff like that. And then they had like this amazing buffet of food made there. So I don't even remember the restaurant. It was so good. But yeah, Turkey was one of the cooler places.
Did you go to? There's this place that's a cafe made of gold.
I think we went by it. I didn't get to go in, but it looked cool.
Yeah, and it's not that expensive either.
That's another thing. It's reasonably priced. At least when I went, it was a little scary because it was a time when they were in best relations with America. So, the cruise ship we were on that took us there, they held our passports. They're like, we need to hold your passports till you get back. I'm like, that's weird. And because they wanted to make sure people who came back were the right people and they weren't getting stowaway. I was like, that's kind of wild.
Man, okay.
Yeah.
Man, a cruise though. How long was the cruise?
It was cool. It was a 13-day cruise related to a wedding anniversary. So yeah, it was cool.
You didn't feel like a prison?
Oh, I love cruises.
Really?
Man. Yeah.
I've never been on one, but it just seems like you're in the same
spot. Oh my God.
spot.
You get to see so many places at once. So like, we go to Santorini, Greece, Crete, and then also Turkey, different parts of Italy like Naples, Florence, Rome, and you can't really easily do that if you fly and try to navigate with trains. But with a cruise ship, it can take you to each port. And then you can go and see what's up. Now, I will say Italy is amazing. Florence, like, it has the best pizza. I don't know how they do it so well. I've researched. I'm like, how can it be so much better? But I think it's the dough, because the way that they grow it and make it. But then I found out they actually buy dough from Arizona. They buy like grain from Arizona of all places, fly it to Florence. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, so there's a place in Arizona that tastes just like having pizza in Italy that I want to go to.
And then maybe they import the water from New York.
That'd be cool.
That's why the pizza in New York has water is so good.
Pizza. Yeah. So if I ever go to Arizona, I'm gonna go to whatever pizza place that was. I saw it on Chef's Table on Netflix. I was like, that's crazy. That explains things.
I learned not to order pepperoni pizza in Italy.
Okay.
You don't get what you want.
And you need to make sure you ask for sauce, because they can just make it without sauce.
Oh yeah, without
they
tomato.
Just put the tomatoes. They put tomatoes, mozzarella on bread, and I'm like, no. Can I get sauce? They're like, okay.
Yeah, like you have to tell them how to make the pizza you want.
Yeah.
We're so used to it. Like pepperoni over there is vegetables, apparently.
That's funny.
So I was.
It could have been lost in translation, because they love prosciutto and they love meat. So they'll put it different sorts of meat on there if you want.
You know, maybe these Italians, they just
were
have
messing with you.
Yeah, they have a thing against Americans, and they're like, oh, they think that they're superior with their orders.
Yes.
They think they know what's good. So
in Italy you can't get spaghetti with chicken.
You're not allowed.
Get chicken
it's
parmesan.
Illegal.
Because they believe that chicken doesn't work with pasta.
Really?
So if you try to order chicken parmesan, like, oh, we're not serving that to you. If you go into authentic places in Italy, they won't serve it. They don't think it pairs properly.
You know, that it just shows that, like, here we have such a society in America that if you want something, there's always gonna be someone that's gonna make what you want.
Yeah.
But over there, it's about the traditions. It's more about like what we know is good, and we want you to follow what we know.
Yep.
Which is so interesting how there's such a divide, a difference with even like their family dynamics of when they have family time. They're like how their day is scheduled. Like everyone's just in different countries. The way that they live is just completely different than what we're used to. And it's just the tradition of it.
Yeah, more people live at home with their parents than moving out right at 18. Mm-hmm. They'll live there till 25, 26.
Mm-hmm. My uncle lived with my grandma until he was 64.
There you go.
So sometimes you don't even have to move out.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're taking care of the parents at that point. Yeah. So, but for me,
and tragically, that's why COVID spread so much, because of the dynamics. Like so many younger people live with the older people, and then COVID. That's why a lot of parts of Italy had a hard time with COVID. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Because I took Italian in school.
Oh, cool.
Like 4 years of Italian.
That's awesome. I took French. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we were like required to take a language, but Italian seemed the easiest for me for some reason. You know, when they should definitely require in schools like Spanish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just in general, because a lot of countries have Spanish.
I took Spanish in high school, but I switched to French in college.
Yeah. Like I feel like they're like the random. Like I took Latin. In
what do we get out of Latin? No one speaks it, but I guess it's the foundation.
Yeah, I didn't get anything from it. I was listening to the radio, Hot 99.5, and I had like these headphones that would be like underneath my hat. I don't know how she didn't know I was listening, but I would just pretend like I would be paying attention. And then the final exam, I would look for every single way to like cheat on someone's test.
I had to do lots of extra credit just to get a C in Spanish. I was not the best when it came to Spanish. I was like, "Can I do extra credit? Like, I need to get at least a C. Could help me out?" And the teacher was cool and let me do some extra credit homework. But I struggled in Spanish, man.
You know, if you're just nice to the teachers, they'll give you a good grade a lot of the time. Like, at least for me, like somehow I was just like, I don't know.
You were charming.
I was kind of charming as a kid, but I also remember doing things in middle school that weren't so charming.
But it pays to be nice to your teachers, because so many kids are not. So that when there's one kid who is nice, it goes a long way. The other thing I did that made I struggled in languages. So even French in college, I got B's and C's. Wasn't the best grades, but in English I always did well, because when there were papers, I figured out at a young age, like maybe 7th, 8th grade, that kids don't know how to be funny. Like they'll write and they think, oh, I have to keep it serious. and I have to make these papers, and then the teacher's so bored reading every paper.
Yeah.
So I'd always make them funny and like entertaining. I would always get A in everything I wrote because of that. Because the teacher's like, oh, this is refreshing, like having like some levity in the writing.
Wow, so you were literally thinking of what the teacher was thinking when they were grading your paper.
Yeah, no, other than the language class, I did pretty well as far as grades. I had a 3.9 by the time I graduated, but
nice.
But yeah, it was a lot of it. It was just being nice to the teachers, and then figuring out like putting myself in their shoes. Man, they must be so bored. Let me make this hilarious, and like and I would, it worked every time. Even in college, it worked. Like
wow. I remember in math class when we were doing a test, I would, because you have to like, you learn all these formulas and stuff, but I would forget the formulas, but I would figure out my own way of doing the math so I get the right answer. But then of course you've got to show your work, but if I were to show my work, it wouldn't actually like, I'm not using the formula or anything like that, and so I would like erase my work, so I would just have like the answer circled and then just lots of erase marks of where it was. But yeah, I would somehow like I would do well in math, but I just would forget the formulas and stuff. So
yeah, math was hard for me. But what was cool is my dad, since he was a rocket scientist, he was like, "No, you're gonna get good at math. Come on." So basically, every summer since 9th grade, he made me take a whole level of math. So if I did algebra, he's like, "All right, we're gonna do algebra 2." If I, whatever was the next thing, like he would do it with me in the summer, and then I would test out of it and then go to the next level. So by senior year, even though I wasn't good at math around 9th grade, by senior year I was already in calculus, AP Calc.
What the heck? But calculus, you don't even need, what is?
Oh, it was easier to me than algebra. Algebra was the hardest. Algebra 2 was so hard, but calculus, that's when it started to click, and I was like, oh, it's just word problems. And then word problems are easier because you kind of break down because I was good at English, I could break down what's being said and turn it, he said, just turn it into a written math problem. Just figure it out and turn it into a written math problem, and then it's easy to answer. So he is a good dad. So yeah, he helped me because I was struggling in it. And
so was your strength in writing?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. When did you start writing like songs, like your first songs?
I had written 300 songs before I graduated high school. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and lyrical singing songs. Nothing I write. I maybe released one of them, nothing I released. But it was more just to build the skill. And I was too shy to release anything. So there's one song I released called "Time," which you can find. But actually, the original version was instrumental, and then I did a director's cut of this album called Live Vibe The Humble Beginnings, where instead of releasing each song, I made them flow together, and then only in that version, in the middle of this blob of like 30 minutes is the vocal version of the song.
You had a 30-minute song?
So yeah, so that album was like 30 minutes, and then I took that concept even further and made an hour-long song called First Light, where there's 17 key changes, 17 tempo changes, and is
that enough though?
It was awesome. Like that's some people really consider that some of my best work as far as jazz. Yeah,
so it was a journey.
Yeah, so the concept is what if a DJ would do a set of jazz? How would they blend the tracks together? And so everything had to flow together. And so the hardest part was going back and editing the transitions because we played it live. Like I arranged the whole thing in one day, and then I played like the keyboards and piano and stuff, and then sent it to this amazing pianist, Von Stepanian, who redid everything. Like he did it with a more classical approach to piano playing, really technical and beautiful. But even that, the transitions weren't clean. And so then I got a keyboard player named Kenny Darby who helped me do all the transitions, and we got in the studio together because the pianist lived in Armenia, so that I couldn't really get in the studio to work. I just said he just was really good at recreating what I did even better. But with Kenny, I could actually sit in the studio, and we did that. So those were the first two steps. Then I brought in I sent it back to Vaughn, who did the upright bass, And then I brought in a conga player named Curtis McCain and an amazing singer named Kenny Wesley, who I did a really cool cover of Michael Jackson's Rock With You with. That's probably like one of the most streamed songs I ever did. But anyway,
nice.
We had, because that went so well, we did this, and he sang throughout the whole album in one take, along with the conga player and percussionist Curtis. So Curtis and Kenny, they took what we had created and played over it in one take.
Oh my god!
And it was so cool. And then by the final song, his emotions were so high that the passion just was so cool at the very end of the album.
Wow.
Just really cool because it's kind of, the first 30 minutes is upbeat, then the next 25 minutes is kind of relaxed and mellow, and then the final 5 minutes is this epic string section. This cellist named Yoad Neer scored strings for it, and then so after all that, then I hired a saxophone and flute player named Nico Leger, and he filled in more to even make the transitions even more smooth and add like saxophone solos, flute solos, and then I did some guitar soloing. So that turned into an hour-long song. That's insane.
By the end of it, were you out of money?
It's definitely an investment.
Yeah, sounds like it.
But it was cool. And then the Nico was the studio owner where I worked, Sweet Spot Studios at the time. But I paid him, but he let me mix for free, so that was cool. So
nice.
There was, when I look back, there were 35 mixes before I was done.
Song. Wow.
Because there was so much volume automation to get it smooth and perfect that I would mix, listen in the car, mix, and it was 35 before.
Jesus. I mean, just an hour long. It was all in one project?
Yep. And just think, a mix isn't just that hour. It's like I'm mixing. It's almost like making a film. You do sections, and then But I would do section till I mix the whole thing, listen to the car, and that's so 35 times of that. So if I had to pay for the mixing sessions, it would have been insane.
That is dope, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a cool idea too. Just like you kind of didn't listen to the normal way of making an album.
Mm-mm.
Like, you were just like, I'm gonna make my own story,
completely out of the box.
Yeah, that's so cool, man.
And it came out really good. Like, and it also opened the door for a really good collaboration. So I had worked with a guy named Arun Shenoy. He's from Singapore, and we did a really cool song called Genesis. But then we didn't work for like 7 years or so. But he heard that album, and he's like, I want to work again. So since then we did like 200 songs together.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
because that album, he liked it so much. He's like, let's just work. And I've just been working with him ever since mostly on his music, just helping produce and co-produce and work with him on his stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what was the name of that album?
So First Light was the hour-long song.
So everyone should listen to that.
Yeah, First Light's cool. I think people will like it.
It's on Spotify.
Yep.
That.
And there are a couple versions of it. There's the main version where it's song by song, but then I also did a just blob, like you can just listen to it, because sometimes if you cut between songs, it can mess up the sound when you go. So I also released a version where you can just press play and it's the whole hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like it doesn't get cut up or cut into and mixed up. You know how Spotify can play songs out of order and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah,
so I was like, I'm gonna put a version out that's the whole thing.
So,
and the YouTube version is the whole thing too. So if you go on YouTube, that's the easiest place to find it, where it's continuous play.
I can link it in the description.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Yeah, that'd be so cool, man. Because you stood out to me. It's interesting how we met too.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of years and years ago. I remember you reached out one time. It was on a song I think I did a long time ago. Do you remember that? I love your
dance music. Your stuff is so good, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. I would love to get some of my like work with jazz musicians too. That we can make like a fusion with like dance, jazz, hip hop.
It's possible. It's
R&B.
Possible. Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
I'm down for whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you have a really good ear too, and I would always see pictures of you mixing, and I remember certain songs that you would release, and it would just have such like a laid back vibe.
Thank you. Yeah.
And
I've been on that field for a long time. Yeah.
Who are some of your influences?
I would say in the jazz world, Miles Davis, Coltrane, but then more unconventional picks for, because I mean everyone, any jazz artist, they go for that. But I also like Dave Grusin. He's an incredible pianist who was really hot in the 80s. Like his album Mountain Dance is everything. Like that album is one of my favorite jazz albums. His jazz piano is better than almost anything. Thelonious Monk, of course, Grover Washington Jr. Another unconventional pick might be Sting. A lot of people don't necessarily associate him with jazz, but his jazz stuff is really cool. Sacred Love, it's not technically a jazz album, but it was cool because it incorporated flamenco. And I was like, I'd been to Spain and seen flamenco artists, so I was looking like that? I needed. So flamenco is when you play on an acoustic guitar in a really improvised way. Yeah, exactly. It's so dope, and I couldn't find a lot of it in pop music or in mainstream music. And he was the first artist in 2003 when he put out Sacred Love. I went to Paris that year, and it was everywhere. And then I came back, and it was like number one on VH1, and I'm like, that's kind of cool that something that has like a global music sound still did well in America. It was like probably the only time I can remember like something that out of the box did that well, you know. So Sting is a huge influence. Of course, the Police, just like yeah, there's so many jazz legends that I love too. Paul Jackson Jr. is my favorite guitarist. Let's see, Gerald Albright is one of my favorite saxophone players. And then lesser known but really incredible musicians include Trey Ely, who's an amazing flautist. And then one of his biggest...
A flute?
Like flute, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he said, you say flautist.
He says that?
Yeah. And then Hubert Laws is his biggest inspiration, who's also a great flute player, flautist.
What's the flout?
So flautist...
What's the flout all about?
Because flutist is someone who cleans drains on roofs.
Okay.
So they had to come up with a different word for a flute player, so it's flautist.
So they just wanted their own name?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's different, right?
They didn't want to be confused.
Yep.
They kept on getting the wrong type of gigs.
Yep. I don't want to clean your gutters.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired of it.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yep. And then sax players, Marcus Mitchell's incredible. Douglas Lira, he's from Brazil, he's incredible. Then Winston Marsalis, Bradford Marsalis. The list goes on and on.
So,
let me see if I can pin
just said this again. Are we doing on time?
4:05. Let me check my timer. 4:24. So another 15 minutes.
All right, I'll set it. Cool. All right, we got 15 minutes to save the world right here.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So we stay English?
Yeah, we'll just do a British accent for
Let's
the entire
stay English
time.
the rest of the time.
Yeah. Have you been to Britain?
Yes.
Oh, how was it?
Oh, it's very nice. The food wasn't great, but it's gotten better. It's better now.
The biscuits and
the
gravy.
Biscuits and
tea.
And tea, but the Indian food's nice.
Really?
Yes. If you go eat the Indian food, that's the best.
What is Britain known for besides stabbings?
It's known for shepherd's pie. It's known for... It's called Bubble and Squeak, which is like...
Wobble and Squeak.
And Spotted Dick.
What?
That's a dessert. It's a cake that looks like a phallus symbol.
Okay.
And a lot of dots on it.
Not a float.
No.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
Okay, indeed.
It is not good. It's dry.
Oh, my days.
They have scones. They have biscuits, which are cookies.
How's the cheese?
The cheese, Wensleydale's, is all right.
Yeah?
I like it.
What'd you call them, Wensleydale's?
Wensleydale has raspberries in it. It's nice.
All right.
I don't know. But the Indian food is probably the best thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Fish and chips are good.
Okay.
That's more Scottish, though.
Oh.
Or Irish.
Fish and chips.
That's an Irish thing.
Did you go to a game?
The football.
Yeah.
I know they get a little crazy.
Oh yeah, I'd be a bit concerned for my safety. Interesting. Well,
yeah.
I've never been to Britain. I went to Australia though, and I learned a lot about beaches over there.
Oh, I've never been to Australia. Was it nice?
It's gorgeous.
It looks amazing.
It's way better than California.
I believe it.
Like it has all what California has, but even better. It's like the beaches are really nice. The women everywhere everyone is attractive. They have pools at their clubs.
Margot Robbie's from there, so I believe.
Yeah, sheesh.
Yeah.
So
no, a lot of American filmmakers use Australian talent. You notice it. They sound American in the films, and then you see the interviews, and it's like, oh wait, they're Australian. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. A lot of Australians. Yeah. Well, since we're a wee bit limited on time, what are you working on nowadays?
So the two coolest things that I've worked on in the last year is an album called "We'll Find a Way" 2 with Kenny McNeil. And then another song with Kenny McNeil called My Ride or Die. Both of those are the coolest things I worked on this year. There are a lot of really wonderful projects I was honored to be a part of. But those two albums were my favorite because we tapped into my African roots. There's African influence on everything on those two songs. The album and the song. It's not just Afrobeat, but piano, Afro folk. It's kind of like if Afrobeat was done with all live instruments. So it doesn't have that log drum bass. It's actually like live bass for the most part. So it's kind of different than what you would hear in Afrobeat, but it's still really fun. And I had been on a kind of a chilled out tip for so long that it's upbeat and more like for a party, like to put in the background at a classy dinner event or something. And,
nice.
And people be like just enjoying it, like a little more than the laid back stuff I've been doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like I have so much I want to cover with you, but I know I just want to be quick about it in a sense. We're gonna do a speed round.
Yeah, no worries.
But how did the Grammy situation happen?
So that was bartering too. So me and Masa Takumi, he reached out to me. He saw what I was doing with Arun and was just really impressed. And so he said, "Would you like to barter?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm down." Like he's such a great musician. He plays everything from guitar, bass, drums, piano. I think piano is his main instrument, but his guitar playing is amazing. But also he plays Japanese instruments like koto, which is this really cool, like percussive string instrument that just sounds amazing. It can bend notes. It does all this cool stuff. Cool. So he actually played koto on a couple of songs that I produced for Marcus Johnson, and then those went really well. They were like the two of the biggest songs off his latest album. I produced the entire album for Marcus, 15 songs. Wow. And then Masa was on 2 of them. And then, so in return for him helping me out, I played guitar on one of the songs on his album, and it was called Kaze. And then he got nominated for Best Global Music Album, and then he won it. And then now I'm a musician on a Grammy-winning album. It's crazy. But it was all, no money was ever exchanged. We always just like bartered and looked out for each other, and we kept working. We did even more work since the Grammy win. We released two more songs since then. One called Another One, and one called Moroccan Sunrise doesn't have. What's the other one? Pure Beauty, which I actually just put out like on the 3rd, November 3rd. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Go stream that.
Yeah, but so Another One is cool because it has the African influence too, but with Masa's really amazing synthesizer work. And then Pure Beauty is cool because even though it's more jazz and relaxed, it still has his electric guitar playing, which you don't always hear in jazz music. Like we're smooth jazz. Like smooth jazz radio for so long shunned electric guitar. Like if you had electric guitar, you're not getting played on smooth jazz stations. Why was it? Because they feel is too much energy. Like they want everything to say smooth. So saxophone, Spanish guitar, flute, keyboard, piano, stuff like that are usually the highlights of what's leading smooth jazz. But so like to go against that, like throw in violin, throw in electric guitar, throw in things that aren't usually heard as the lead instruments that hit a little harder.
How did that get introduced into smooth jazz radio?
Well, smooth jazz started. I would say it got popular with Kenny G, because Clive Davis was behind Kenny G's promotion, and Clive Davis personally wrote all these radio stations to please play Kenny G, and they were, but he was getting played this instrumental song in between pop songs, and so then he was like, so when that did well, he was like, let's just make a station that's all jazz. And so it's really Kenny G's influence that, and Clive Davis who had the smooth jazz stations become a thing. So,
cool.
but
Yeah,
because it was such a specific sound, smooth jazz stayed smooth, which is fine. It serves its purpose. It's relaxing. It's in the background. But then real jazz purists like myself and people I work with like Trey Ely, we would just go against convention, always get electric guitars,
rough
get
jazz,
violins, get other instruments that they would just never play. And we didn't care. We just like, we'll find our own lane and people will like it. So like this song Genesis I did, amazing violin. I've done a song called Beauty and Freedom, flute, and then electric guitar. So like, and they go back and forth. It's just, yeah, I've never been like, I have to be able to fit radio. It's like just do my own thing.
So I notice one of the themes that I hear a lot is that you're doing a lot of things for free and barter.
Yeah.
And how do you balance you being a professional producer, mixing engineer, musician, with also making a living off of it?
Well, yeah. So a lot of it is the bartering is with like the Grammy winners, Grammy nominees, people like Substantial who are incredible. You know what I'm saying? And I there are definitely rare occasions, but for the most part, I still charge clients. And the other reason I bartered a lot is because I still have my day job, and I've, because of ethics, you report what you do, but you can't make so much money that it conflicts, and you can't have so much work that it conflicts with what you're doing at your day job. So I found bartering is a good way not to like, upset the natural order of things. You know what I'm saying? But no, if it's a client that's new or something, I have to charge, because a lot of it is, I work with a lot of live musicians, so at the very least we have to cover the cost of the live musicians and cover the cost of studio time and things like that. And so but I keep my prices very fair, so even if it's a new client, I'm not trying to hit them over the head with crazy expensive prices. I keep it like that. But I actually have had to be more selective. Like I can't work with everyone. It's a lot of like having to turn down people just because I've gotten so busy, and I want to do a good job at my day job too. So I'm only really working on weekends, really, So yeah, I'm not like maybe some nights, but for the most part, yeah, just reserving the work I do. And so that's why I've actually had to rely a lot on live musicians who can record at their home and then send it to me, and then I mix everything on the weekends.
I see. Okay.
Like one of the best guys is Douglas Lira, who's a saxophone and flute player, and he's super busy too. But I'll just say, hey, in the next 2 weeks, whenever you have time, can you play saxophone on this song? And then I pay him. Okay. But I don't rush him, like we just did a song called Around You. It's a remake of a song I did with a group called D2D, Kenny McNeil, El Marshall, but a jazz version. And I think I sent it to him 2 weeks ago, and he just sent it to me today, and it's amazing. But I have no problem waiting that long for someone like him who's amazing, like just so sought after and just really good. But yeah, with like him, he's not into bartering, so I just pay his fee and keep it moving. And
dope.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of again the lightning round, so I have like 3 or 4 questions that I want to just get your opinion on, just as another fellow producer. I noticed that you spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so Immersive Music Media Group. That is the best studio I've ever been to. It's this Dolby Atmos immersive audio studio, and they actually go beyond what Dolby Atmos capabilities are right now, which is 7 speakers around you, 4 speakers in the ceiling, and 2 subwoofers, so 7.2.4. But they actually have built more speakers just in case the technology gets even better. So it's the coolest studio. Their sound quality is amazing, and so whenever I mix, I go over there to do my Dolby Atmos mixes. And everything I've released in the last 3 years has been stereo, lossless, and Dolby Atmos. So lossless meaning 2448 wave files, like really high quality. That's still stereo. But then the Dolby Atmos is the new term for surround sound.
Yeah.
So it just immerses you. And I even changed my production style. So that's another reason I like We'll Find a Way, the album with Kenny McNeil, so much, is because I actually changed my production style to have more percussion. Because the album I did before that with Arun Shenoy called Elemental, it wasn't a lot of production, but the Atmos, there was one song called Visions of the Future that had a lot of layers. It was more layers than the other songs. All the other songs were really kind of jazz oriented, but Visions of the Future was super layered. Lots of synthesizers, lots of little sounds, even backing vocals that was like 30 layers deep and all this. So with that, we were able to experiment with Roger, who did the Dolby Atmos mix on that. But he did a lot of putting the sounds around the room, and just opened my eyes to like the possibilities of, oh wait, I don't have to keep it as minimal as I usually do. So with We'll Find a Way, there's like 40 layers of percussion on every song.
Wow.
And I the other reason I did that, I went at the Strathmore and saw an Afro-Cuban group, and they had 10 percussionists on stage, and it sounded so good, and I'm like, oh yeah, we need to be able to do that live. So it's a combination of Latin and African influences, but just the percussion's crazy. The songs don't start that way, but by the end, it's like more and more layers come in as the song progresses, and so by the end, it's 40 layers of percussion on every song.
So do you think the future of music is going to be mixed in Atmos?
Well, I think it's going to be a learning curve for average listeners to want to hear it. But what's cool is Apple Music, now you can hear those Atmos mixes in Apple AirPods. So if anyone uses Apple Music and you see Atmos and you have AirPods, you can listen, and it makes you feel like you're in the room, and you can hear what's behind and what's above you. I don't even know how they do it. That's crazy, amazing technology to me.
Yeah.
But I think more and more people, if they get their theater systems from Best Buy, they'll have the ability to hear stuff in Atmos. But I think it'll be a learning curve for the average listener. But I think albums like We'll Find a Way, where the percussion surrounds you, the strings and the horns are in the ceiling, the electric guitar is coming at you from the front, that will, if people hear it in Atmos, they'll see why it's so much better than just listening in stereo.
Yeah, because where did you learn how to mix in Atmos?
Well, when I went to Omega Studios from 2006 to 2008, there was training in how to do surround sound mixing, but I was kind of insecure because it was a short portion of what we learned. Like comprehensive, you learn everything about mixing, engineering, recording, but the surround sound portion of what we learned was like a couple weeks. It wasn't a long. So for the album Elemental from 2 years ago with Arun Shenoy, we hired a guy named Roger from Singapore. He now lives in Paris. He was amazing. And so being able to hear what he did was the first step in me wanting to jump back in. And then I hired someone to teach me, Dominic Sable at Tympanic Media. I hired him, and he taught me and got me back up to speed with Pro Tools and how to set things up, and then I created my own workflow from there, where I would mix everything perfectly in stereo, and then once that mix was perfect, I had done all the processing. I would bounce everything down with the EQ, with the compression, everything on each track that I wanted. So by the time I go to mix it in in Dolby Atmos, I don't have to do any of the EQ, volume automation, none of that. All that's done. So
right.
now it's just a matter of placing it around the room.
Okay.
So I can with We'll Find a Way, I mixed all 8 songs in 2 days. So I did 4 songs a day. And it was just an hour per song pretty much. And then there's a lot of time for the bouncing process, but the actual mixing was very fast because I'd spent the 8 hours plus working with Angie Nicole, who mixed the stereo version of the album, and me and her went back and forth and mixed it to perfection, and then I mastered the stereo version, and then so everything was like sounding perfect in stereo, and all the stems were processed the way I wanted. So by the time I got to the studio and I worked with Ken Mertz, Chris Keeney, so all 3 of us just mixed everything together an hour per song until the whole album was done, and we just did it in 2 sittings.
So now so pretty soon you're gonna be rich.
If we can get some good projects.
Yeah.
There are some. I work with 4 Grammy winners this year, so there's some cool things that happen. I'm blessed because of that.
Nice.
Because of what happened last year, which led to opening the door to more high profile. And you notice I haven't said any of who those people are because I want to see what happens.
Yeah.
Tomorrow the Grammy nominations are announced, so we'll see if another nomination comes through.
Yeah.
We'll see, but
I think it will.
Yeah,
that's gonna be dope.
I was taught by some good people to try to stay in the background. Like the more you can quietly work in the background, the more progress you can make. Because the more you're out front showing off too much, the more people get jealous. But if you can just work in the background, do good work for people, the right people know who you are. That's actually how you can get so high in the industry. And then by the time the world does find out about you, they're like, it's out of nowhere. Like, what? I didn't know you were at that level, but just that. So I've been trying to stay as quiet as possible about the bigger people I'm working with. But then the passion projects, like We'll Find a Way, Kenny McNeil is my business partner. We've been friends forever. So I'll talk all day about that. You know what I'm saying? First Light, passion project.
Yeah.
Like I have no problem talking about it. But like the 4 Grammy winners I work with, we'll wait to see what happens and see if they get nominated, and then there we go. There's the time. Yeah.
That would be dope, man.
Yeah, man.
But I wanted to talk about AI real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you think the musicians.
I'm a fan of AI. A lot of my friends are scared of it. Yeah. I have a beatbox friend of mine. I'll shout him out, John Q. He's in New York. He's incredible. But he's scared of it. He's like, man, it's going to put people out of business, like mastering engineers out of work, the human element of working together. Like if AI is so good, you don't need it. Like, so I get where he's coming from, and I respect that. And I'll still hire a good mastering engineer. I hired Derek Atwater to master something for me. And I paid him $300 to master one song. Like, so I'm still a proponent of paying people to do good work. But there's if you need to make a quick mix for a film and you don't have time or the budget to hire a mastering engineer, like I'm all for trying like AI for mastering or AI for other things, like especially visuals. I'm totally a proponent of like trying things out and seeing how it goes. I'm not scared of it. I still want to hire people, and I think my conscience is okay because I hire so many musicians, but I have no problem like seeing how AI sounds compared to something else, and I saw something in the news that said like lawyers who use ChatGPT, for instance.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I think it's too generic for songwriting. It's too generic. I'm not using it for that. But the basic concept that I'll say is that it said it's not AI that's going to put lawyers out of business. It's the lawyers who are willing to use AI to speed up their workflow are going to put the lawyers who are still setting their old ways out of business. So it's same concept with musicians. You got to be willing to try things and speed up your workflow. The thing I won't do is let AI make a beat, because then you could get in copyright infringement.
Wow.
Because I tried it, and then what I do is if just to see how it sounds, I'll put it into SoundCloud, because they catch things really well. They'll catch copyright infringements, and it actually said, oh, there's a copyright on this sound. So the AI you can tell it's copying off of the internet, so it's not really being original. So you can get into copyright. So that's why I'm not trying to use it for making beats or anything.
Because I noticed like AI is literally making beats and stuff like that. You think it's getting everything from the internet?
Oh, it definitely is. And so like anytime if you use AI, I'm not against it, but just try to upload it to SoundCloud, because SoundCloud is better at catching the copyright than anything. YouTube catches it here and there pretty well, but if you really want things to get caught immediately, SoundCloud is the best algorithm for catching fraudulent content. So
that's sick.
I had this one producer I found, and he sent me a bunch of beats, and they were so good, but he was selling them for so cheap, and so I just went on a private SoundCloud page of mine and uploaded all of them, and out of the 25 beats he sent, like 20 of them were someone else's beat.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so he was being slick, trying to rip instrumentals off of YouTube and sell them.
Wow.
And the way he made it look like it was his is he used Stem Player, and you know how Stem Player can separate into kick, bass, vocals, and whatever the other thing is. So it split it into 4 parts. But I'm like, every beat he sends me has 4 parts. Let me upload. And 20 in a row were owned by someone else. And I'm just like, yeah, because it's too good to be true. $10 a beat. I'm like, no.
What the heck?
Yeah. I'm like, let me see what's going on. And they were really good beats. And so basically, what he did and I reported him to Fiverr, and they took him down. So, and they refunded me the money.
So you paid him $10 for the beat?
Yeah, because I wanted to try. I wanted to see how it would work, but. Yeah, if it's too good to be true, if it probably is. So
that's the case for almost everything.
He didn't know I could do that step though. I always do that, like, because people send me beats all the time. So I'm like, let me see if this is already been out there. And SoundCloud, not only does it flag it, it tells you what the beat is and links you to the YouTube link. So I actually was able to send it back to him like, hey, here's the beat you sent me. Yeah. It's like, oh, my bad, man. And then I said, just make me something from scratch. Even though I reported you to Fiverr, you're probably going to be kicked off the system. I just want to hear what you... And his beats from scratch were garbage. I was like,
he sent me something.
Yeah. So no. His little scheme was messed up. Because I would say, I wanted this style that I don't produce myself. Like some client wanted a really aggressive... British hip hop, like almost horror sounding beat. I'm nowhere in the wheelhouse to make that. So that's why this guy online, and he sent me the 5 hardest, almost amazing beats, and all he did was go on YouTube and search horror beat, rip it, put it through the Stem Player so he could separate it out, mix it a little cleaner than what was, and then send it to me thinking he was slick, but no.
You upset his whole livelihood.
Yeah, no, he's kicked off.
How he's gonna sell beats for $5. He's at 1,000 beats for $5 a month.
Yep.
So actually, that could be a whole thing where producers have a subscription-based thing where any artist that wants beats for them, artists will pay producers like $5 a month, and you have 1,000 artists that all want music from that.
If I ever did that, I'd charge like $100 a month. But yeah,
that would. I mean, you'd be working really hard. For 1,000 artists,
and you could only get up to 3 beats a month, or something. Like maximum, like. And it wouldn't work that. It could work. It could work though.
You think?
Yeah. I think people would like it.
That would be interesting.
Especially like hip hop artists, dance music artists, they would eat that up. Probably even 100, 200 a month. They might go for it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially if they can own it. Really known artist too.
Yeah, if they can own the beat. Like Lil Nas X, the Old Town Road was a beat he bought for $100.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He just found it online, bought it, made it himself, and then it became the biggest hit of that year.
Yeah, I think they had to. It was a 9 Inch Nails sample. The guitar.
To clear it.
Yeah, I think it was. I actually had an idea to do like a Zoom auction where I would have all these artists that are looking to hire me for something, and they don't know what they want sometimes. And so I'll do is like I'll have like 20 beats, and then it'll be a silent auction, and I'll post like I'll be the one that's. Everyone else is silent, and then I'll just play the beats, and then they figure out which beat they want.
Oh, that's
and then
cool.
They auction based off of that beat.
And they can't see what the other person bid?
They can see it on the chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then, like the comments and stuff like that.
That could be really dope.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. when I would just try to get like sell beats that I didn't.
That's awesome. That's a great idea.
Need.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyway, I really appreciate you coming here, sharing your wonderful wisdom.
I'll give one more shout out to this guy Ruslan KD, who did something creative. He did just for the 1 month. He did something called a feature discount, and he said, whatever you want to pay me for the feature, I'll do it. And then he said, but just for this 1 month, and it was a long time. He doesn't do it anymore. I think I'll hit him up on Instagram to chat with him, make sure that's what he did. But it was something along the lines of a feature discount, but name your price kind of thing. But people were pretty generous. He said one person even paid him $400 still to do a rap verse on their song.
Oh, nice.
So even though he set the price, you pick your price or whatever. And he said he doesn't do it anymore, but it was a good way to make a bunch of money in 1 month real quick. Yeah. Well, that was creative, I thought.
A quick thought that just kind of piggybacks off that. How do you figure out what's your price that you're gonna like pitch to someone when they ask?
I have my set prices, and especially if someone needs a full production, the price can go up. So no, if someone needs my rates, they can just go to mtsmusic.net and click contact, and I'll send them the price I charge everyone. So
right.
Yeah, but it's like per musician. My flat rate as a producer. If you want Kenny involved, his rate as a vocal coach and producer.
But how do people? How do you like figure out what your rate is?
Well, because of the live musicians, it's pretty easy. It's like I have my rate for production, and then it's whatever they charge to play on a track, and so then what they charge plus my rate to produce. But then mixing is a separate fee, mastering is a separate fee, Dolby Atmos mix is a separate fee, music video making is a separate fee, photography is a separate fee, and I don't do all that stuff. Like a guy named Ken Lazo does all the music videos. Another guy does all the photography, and I refer to them, and we just have a good network of. So whatever anybody needs, like even if someone needs a dance music remix, I'll just send them to you.
Are you gonna dance? Like, would you dance?
Nah.
Okay.
But no, like I don't make dance music that much, so I would say go here. So yeah.
That's cool, man. I appreciate that. But where can people find you? Said your website.
mtsmusic.net, and it has everything there. So all the Instagram, Facebook, all that. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, you want to shout out your Instagram real quick?
MTS_music.
Nice. Yeah. There you go. Cool.
And then Twitter's the same. MTS_music.
Do you use X or Twitter a lot?
The only reason I still use it quite a bit is I just post the same things I post on Instagram. But that I built to over 70,000 followers.
Wow.
So Twitter has a lot. Yeah.
Dang. I haven't tapped into Twitter because it's just another thing I got to keep up with, and And so do you post? You write like interesting excerpts and stuff like that?
No. I used to post quotes, but yeah, Twitter's is tricky. But I found like I post exactly what I post on Instagram: photos, videos, and barely say anything. I try to not be political. I don't care about that stuff. The one time I did post a question, I said, "What's wrong with music today?" That kind of blew up. It had like 120 comments and hundreds of reposts and stuff. So I know how to trigger the system to go crazy, but I just don't like being controversial too much. And maybe it's keeping me from huge success, but I'd rather just do the hard and long road of just putting out great music over and over and over till the fans, that's what they come to know me for. I don't need to be like Kanye and be controversial and all that. That's not my path. Like, let me just be a humble, respected musician, producer, and that works for me. I'm cool with that.
That's what's up, man.
In the background.
Yes. You are listening to podcast, the ProducePod. This is your host, Robocon. Can you do any like interesting DJ voices?
Hello, it's Cheery the Corgi. Watch this. All right, bye.
I see where you got your popularity on Twitter.
Yeah, no, Twitter's cool.
That's you gotta have that close to you. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Yes. You were listening to Dino in the Morning
with Cheerio the corgi and this cat, who I will be eating later.
Oh my days! Please, not the
Cats
kitty.
and dogs don't get along, but the cat seems to like my daddy. He's very nice.
Seems to like my daddy.
Let's look at the kitty. Hello.
There's the kitty. She's a pretty kitty in the city.
Pretty kitty.
Yeah, she's the prettiest kitty in the city.
Looks delicious.
Oh.
We'll be eating you.
Do not look at her. Yeah, she... I assure you, I dipped her in poison before this. So
all right. Probably. I will not eat your beautiful kitty. It looks delicious.
Anything she rubs, she kills.
Oh,
yes.
Poor wooden. Oh, she just rubbed you. Yeah, sorry, bro. Last interview.
Yeah.
Producer podcast is now coming to an end.
It's nice to see you all.
All right, bye. All right. Forever.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate Matt show on the show. Go check us out. ProducePod Studios on YouTube. I just call it the ProducePod.
Cool.
So yeah, more to come.
Yes, sir.
And thank you, Matt.
Hey, it was fun, man.
All right.
Thanks. Okay, coming
tomorrow or Saturday
when Grammy nominations are announced.
Yeah. That's exciting though. Where does it get announced? Like in your email?
I think they'll do it online. They'll have presenters presenting each category.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So are you not gonna be there this year?
Well, it's in LA, so I don't feel like flying there for that. But I actually go to the Grammys every year. Okay. So I'll go for the actual Grammy show.
What is that like?
Oh, it's fun, man. I like it. It's the pre-show is early, so that's where all the smaller categories are announced. So like global music isn't going to be on the main telecast. So if you want to be there to see who wins, you go to the pre-show. And there are tons of categories there. Even producer of the year, I think, is announced there. Stuff like that. Oh my gosh, so cute. So the pre-show is all that, but it's still cool because that one is if they're like the musicians, the celebrities are there, they're just sitting with you. Like at the main event, they're usually on the lower level and everyone else is in the higher level. So you don't interact with the celebrities as much at the main Grammys, but if you go to the pre-show, you'll just be right there on the main level.
So do you network there?
Oh, it's good networking. Yeah.
How do you network? You just run around?
You can talk to people. Like the day before is something called the BMI Songwriter Panel, where the top songwriters of the year come and answer questions, and I met so many people at that, like will.i.am, Common, Chad Hugo from the Neptunes, Colby Calais, all sorts of people go to that. So will.i.am was really nice too, because like he actually talked afterwards and just like hung out. And then so the next day I saw him on the red carpet because I actually had helped someone get nominated. And so he was chill to take a picture with me and stuff. And then Outkast was walking by and Big Boy was there and everything. So if you get access to the red carpet because you helped someone or you got nominated yourself, then you'll rub shoulders with the celebs a bit. But yeah, it's cool.
But how do you keep it cool when you have like that artist?
Like there are definitely times where I haven't been cool. Like there was I'm not too starstruck, but Alicia Keys, I think I was a little starstruck. Maybe I was a little starstruck with Quincy Jones. My cousin, one year I helped someone get nominated, and I was on the red carpet.
How did that?
Usher was right in front of us, and she was just, my cousin Brittany. She was like, "Can we say hi?" I was like, "Yeah, let me think. Let's ask him for gum." And he's like, "Hey," he's like, "Yeah, here you go."
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So she's like, "I got to say hi to Usher." I was like, "Yeah."
Do you know what time it is, Usher?
Yeah, exactly. Just something casual, like, because you got to pretend like you're there. And you should be there too, so you can't be like, "Oh, I need a picture."
Yeah.
And it's humbling though, because like you get to they say, "Who do you want to interview with?" So you can be like, "Oh, CNN, MTV, the Grammys and stuff." But then you get to the station, they're like, "Oh, the camera's not working. Sorry," like, and then
really,
and then the next person, "Oh, Drake, come. Listen.
Oh, yeah.
So they try to be pleasant, but then no, they sometimes will. they're just, they don't know who you are, so they don't want to interview you.
Right. That makes sense.
I've been interviewed by CNN, by the Grammys directly, by the MTV one I didn't get interviewed by, but this is another example, wilding out on the red carpet. It was Drake being interviewed, and I just stood behind him. It was like, and then so on MTV, it's like me and Drake, but I wasn't even trying to pretend like I was with Drake. I was behind him, but just like being wild.
That's
like,
where you got all your Twitter followers.
It was funny. People were laughing at that. Like, people at home were like, "I see you on TV. What are you doing, man?" Yeah. This is like 13 years ago, so it was like I was a little wilder, but yeah, it was funny.
How'd you help your cousin get Grammy nominated?
So no, she was just. I wasn't dating anyone or seeing anyone at the time, so I was like, let me just take my cousin. She's cool.
Okay.
So she wasn't my date. She just was hanging out.
Oh, okay. You weren't dating your cousin?
No. But she's cool, so I was like, someone cool should get to go, you know? Like, I'm not dating anyone right now, but someone cool should be able to go with me. So.
For sure. You were mentioning briefly that how people even get Grammys is like a community of people that you're part of? I
think I kind of hope that there's less campaigning and people just vote for stuff that's good. And I think it's kind of getting back to that, because basically for so long you could vote on anything, but now they made it you can only vote in 3 categories, which is good. So then it limits the amount of campaigning people can actually do, because even in the categories you can't vote in so many different things. So like, I think in jazz, I was only able to vote on like alternative jazz album, global music album, ensemble jazz album, Latin jazz album, and then vocal jazz album. And then it's cut it off. There were like 5 more categories, but like, no, that's enough. Like you can't vote in everything. And that was in the jazz and world music thing. And then another guy named Michael Peloso I produced. And then a bunch of other people in different categories. A guy named Vincent Lin, who has so much love from the Grammy community. So, but his was funny because he can't even campaign because it's in a committee category called a Best Immersive Album. So what's cool about, there's 3 committee categories: immersive album, remix, recording package. Those 3 categories they don't let voters vote on. They put a bunch of people in a room and they listen to everything, or they look at all the album covers and projects for the best album. What's it called? Best recording package.
How do they find the music to even vote on?
Well, everyone has to submit. So you only get nominated if you submitted your song or album.
To where?
To the Recording Academy. Okay. And you don't have to be a member to submit. So anyone can submit. You just have to find someone who can submit it for you. So like J-Views, so the reason I got access to the red carpet, they're a great band from Israel, and they asked me to submit their album, and I submitted them for best recording package. I said, submit to one of these committee categories because you actually have a chance to win, because they're let me share, click share. They're looked at by all the professionals who are part of the committee. So they actually got nominated. And then 5 years later, I submitted them again. They get nominated again. So they've been 2-time Grammy nominees, and they're virtually an unknown band, you know. So, but just because their recording package was so professional and amazing, like what they did that was kind of unique. This was 9 years ago. It was a lot of people doing it now, but back then they were like one of the first bands to do it. They had a secret password in the album that went to a website, a hidden website, where they had a bunch of music videos, like videos for every song,
that's cool.
But it's nowhere else online. So it was cool because it was only if you had bought the album do you get access to this secret page.
That's smart.
With a password and everything. So
what do committees look for on songs?
So the 3 committees: best remix, which is like dance music. They're just a bunch of dance music producers in a room, and they listen and they pick what they think is the best. And then immersive audio, they're listening for how well are you using the technology. So that's why I think my album, which I also submitted to immersive audio, has a decent chance, because the way we mixed and surrounded you with percussion and put the strings and horns in the ceiling, and then also had a lot of live instruments, so it's not just all like electronic layers. It's like live musicians mixed with electronic. It's a pretty innovative way to mix, and because it's a Wild West immersive audio, it's like they're just looking for innovation, so they listen to everything. They listen to the whole album for every person who submits.
So who are they?
So it's like special committee members. They get voted in, and then they get in a room in each state. So there's like, I think 12 different cities that have special committees, and then in those cities they get copies of every immersive album or every remix or every physical recording package. The physical recording package committee just looks at all of them one by one, and they determine the best. And it's actually the coolest way to get nominated, I think, because you're not just campaigning and getting people to vote for you. You actually have to be so skilled that this committee likes you and you get voted in.
Interesting. And I bet you there's like millions of people that submit.
A lot of people, yeah.
So,
but the people in each category can be limited to like I think alternative jazz only had 200 albums, and then like the bigger pop categories like best pop album might have had like 500. So it's not a crazy amount. So there's still room to, like, those bigger categories. It's very hard to get nominated, but crazy.
So what happens when you become a nominated or winner?
Everyone hates you.
Really?
Like, I feel so bad, like, for when Justin Bieber, he lost Best New Artist to an amazing jazz artist. I'm blanking on her name right now. But she got so much hate online because everyone thought Justin Bieber should win Spalding. What's her first name? Esperanza Spalding. She's so good and so much better than Justin Bieber. But anyway, he's amazing too. I actually think he has the voice of an angel. But she's this upright bass player and sings like an angel too, and just so good and definitely deserved to win. But no one knew who she was. So when she beat him, then the online people just tore her up, and I feel bad for her. So that's why I'm not like, I have to win, and it's the only way I feel good about myself. No. I know it comes with a lot of nonsense. So if I ever do get nominated and win, I want it to be for something like We'll Find a Way that's just so undeniably good that then people, when they analyze it, they're like, oh man, this is pretty good. Okay, I can't hate on this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you definitely don't want to get nominated before you've gotten to that level. You know what I'm saying? Because then you'll get chewed up. People will analyze it, say you're not worthy. People like Milli Vanilli, like how they lost their Grammy because they got nominated, and then people found out later that other people had sung for them, so they were just the face dancing and singing around.
Well, they can't just because they were part of the project. Like, why wouldn't they?
They lost their Grammy. Yeah, because they pretended to be the singers and songwriters, and then
wait, they didn't even sing.
They didn't even sing. They were just models.
Wow. I mean, wouldn't that, like, eventually the first show, wouldn't that be
No, they just had backing tracks and everyone thought they sang, but they just had,
they would lip sync?
Yeah. And they got so far in their career to the point where they won a Grammy for best recording. Like, they won the best song of the year. And then I think there was a performance where the backing track skipped or something, and then people started to investigate and they realized they weren't singing. Wow. And the Grammys took it away from them.
That is embarrassing.
They got it revoked.
So, just having a Grammy, like, what does that give you? Like, what's the appeal?
Good, so that downside is everyone hates you. Then the upside is you get to work with Sting. So that's why I want a Grammy. So
you get to work with Sting?
I want to, because he works only with like Grammy winners. So I was like, yeah, if I could win, like on my own, like for one of my albums, then he might be like, all right, Matthew, come play guitar.
Yeah, it's your time.
You and Chris Botti, you guys can come on in and play together.
Bring the corgi.
Yeah.
That'd be sick. I mean, I wish.
Yeah. So I think working with him would be, I'll be like, okay, I made it now. We're doing okay.
You don't think you made it yet?
No.
Really?
I always try to keep my mindset like I've never made it, so I keep staying hungry. Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
I can tell you're a humble dude too.
I try.
Got a lot going on for you, and I look forward to seeing all the amazing new projects and also the Grammys you're gonna win.
Hopefully, we'll see. And also, like, when I won, when I was part of a Grammy-winning album as a musician. I'm trying to make sure I word it well so the Grammys don't get mad if they see it. But I didn't even post the certificate I got. Like, I've never posted it.
Wow.
So I think the only time people saw it was in that thing you did where I showed it to you. Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
I never posted it online.
Why?
So I don't know. I think I'm still in denial.
You don't think it's real?
I'm like, did it happen? No. I think I'm finally coming to grips that we did win. Oh, that's cool. But
you're on the committee?
I'm a voting member, but I'm not on one of those special committees yet. But eventually, I want to be on the immersive one. I think that'll be cool, being on the immersive. Like, I don't want to be on the remix or recording package because that's not my realm of expertise. But immersive, since I'm pretty good at that, that'll be cool to be a judge on that.
You should be on the dance one just so you can put me in there.
There you go. And I think it's cool that the dance community fought to get that to be a committee, because I think the way it happened was one year a really bad artist got nominated who had just petitioned really hard and got a lot of people to vote for him, and the dance community got so mad. Dead Mouse, Skrillex, everyone just said we can't have this happen again. So that's when they created that committee to make sure it wouldn't happen again.
That's sick. Does Skrillex just win every year?
He won the first year that he came out. He won best. I think he even won a best new artist that year, and he also won best everything. But no, him, Dead Mouse, all sorts of people. There are a lot of people who are doing really well in the dance world. But I love Skrillex. He's really good, man.
He's one of my favorites.
He rocks the crowd like no one else, man.
He has such an ear for like the future.
Yeah.
Like,
but no, his control of a crowd is insane. Like, have you seen him live ever?
Yeah, a few times.
It's kind of better than most DJs, because I don't know what, it's just something about how he mixes things and controls things, and he's a little more hyped than the average DJ. It's just, he gets the crowds going nuts. And I think he had a background in hard rock, so
yeah, he's
a little harder edge than most DJs. So
yeah, it's crazy. He started as a vocalist.
Yeah.
That is dope. Have you ever thought about doing vocals?
I write for people, so I just don't want the final product to have my voice on it.
Why not?
No, I'm just not the best singer, but I don't mind singing to tell someone what to sing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's kind of how I am too with like vocal producing.
It's like I only work with people better than me, so why would I ever put out something with my voice if I know singers 10 times better than me? I can sing it and then have them re-sing it better. That's kind of my thought. But eventually maybe I'll be like Bob Dylan and put out some crappy vocals, but with really good songwriting or something.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I could see you as like the next Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We'll see.
Because you can like do a talk sing, you know?
Maybe. No, he could sing. That dude was amazing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Blue Eyes could sing his ass off.
Well, I appreciate you, man. I hope the cameras are still going.
That's all good. You can use some of that too. I don't care.
Absolutely.
Dance all night. I just wanna dance all night. I just wanna dance all night. I just wanna dance all night. Dance all night. Dance all night. I just wanna dance all night. I just wanna dance all night. I just wanna dance all night. Dance all night. Dance all night.